There is no doubt that buying a camera used can save you some money. However, you've probably heard these scary stories from people buying cameras or other items off of eBay and getting completely ripped off. But it's not all that dangerous, and you can actually strike some really good deals on really good products in really good condition if you know how to. So today I'm going to give you some pointers and tips for buying used items, specifically cameras and camera lenses, online so that you don't have this scary experience that you hear of. Let's get to it. Hello, I'm Noah from Anything Cameras, the channel that focuses on helping you improve your filming and photography. Now, to give you a bit of information about myself and my experience when buying used items online, specifically cameras and lenses, well, I've actually bought a lot of used camera-related items online, including eBay, B&H, and Adorama. Oh, and Amazon too. My biggest purchase was my Sony a7R III, which I bought used on Adorama. I also bought a used Samyang 85mm f1.4, a Canon ATD, a Sigma 17-50 f2.8, and a number of smaller items used. And with all these items, I had no bad experiences and would recommend using these methods if you want to strike a better deal on an item. So let's start off with platforms. What platforms are there that I would recommend that you buy items off of? Well, the obvious one is eBay. The problem with eBay is that private sellers who owned and used the item personally are the ones to actually sell the item on the platform. Because of this, you can strike much better prices, but there's also increased risk of having a bad experience with the seller not getting the item promised, not getting the item in condition that's promised, not being able to return the item, or a number of other drawbacks that come with buying from a private seller. However, there are places like Amazon, Adorama, and B&H that also offer used options on items. Between these three, I would specifically recommend Adorama or B&H because they inspect the items themselves and then sell it themselves. Whereas on Amazon, it's usually not a private seller, but a smaller company selling used on Amazon's site, which has much less risk than what's on eBay, but still has more risk than the actual company such as Adorama or B&H selling it. Between Adorama, B&H, and Amazon, I did not find much variance in prices, and though Adorama and B&H might have been slightly higher, I was willing to pay that very small extra fee. I also found that Adorama had a larger used market than B&H did, but this might have just been the items I was looking for at the time I was looking for them. Now, while I was talking about platforms, I actually kind of gave several tips about looking for used items and buying them online. However, let me re-emphasize them and run through a few more. First off is your choice of platform. I recommend Adorama or B&H. Look both places, compare prices based on the website's condition rating, but then if you want to and don't mind a little bit more risk, you can choose Amazon or eBay for a slightly better price or much better price, respectively. On B&H and Adorama, I just recommend paying extra attention to the condition they label it in, and again, comparing your options on both sites. Other than that, there's not much you need to do because there's very little risk, since these are big companies selling it to you with policies. On Amazon, it's a similar story, but much smaller companies selling through this company. So there's a more complicated process and smaller companies who might be less reliable. If you purchase used off Amazon though, I recommend checking the seller's feedback, shipping and return policies, and double checking their reviews before purchasing from them. When it comes to eBay, there's much more you have to keep in mind. First off, make sure that the item you're buying is not ridiculously low priced, as this suggests either a broken item or a complete scam. Check the seller feedback. Not only look at the rating, but you can click on the seller rating and go through and look at the different reviews, comparing time frames and types of items sold so that you can get an idea of the seller's reliability, and also be sure that the item is covered by eBay's 30-back-day money guarantee and that the seller accepts returns. It is also helpful, though not necessary, if the seller posts images of their item instead of stock images of the item they are selling. This proves to you that the seller has the item, and you can see what condition it's in. However, if you did everything I said before, then in my opinion this isn't necessary, as the seller might have just not wanted to take photos themselves. Also, check the description of the item on eBay. If there's no description, then consider looking a bit more. However, if there's a very detailed description of the item, how long it was used for, how heavily it was used, what condition it is in cosmetically and functionally, then chances are that the risk will be pretty low, especially if the seller has good feedback and accepts returns. Specifically, when buying cameras or lenses on eBay from a seller, you may want to message them asking them to take raw images on the camera and send them to you so that you can see the image, look at the metadata, and make sure that it's valid. And if they don't have images of the camera or lens on the listing, then you might want to ask them to email you a video or photos of the different angles of the camera, including the sensor or the lens optics, so that you can make sure they aren't damaged. If you follow all these guidelines, then you should be pretty risk-free and get a great deal on the camera or lens that you are buying. I wish you luck and hope to see you next time. If you want to see our future videos, click the subscribe button down below, and if you want to keep watching right now, click this video right here which YouTube recommended for you. It should be pretty good.